Welcome back from the break. You're still watching NTV Sport Nights. A reminder to head over to Twitter, use the hashtag NTV Sport Nights and send us a message if there's anything you would like us to talk about, or if you'd like to comment on anything we have spoken about here on the show. Joining us now is Paul Kabaikaramu. Arali.
Arali. Not Arali. Arali. Not Ra. Arali.
Okay. My mother will be very disappointed because as a Munyangabu, she I guess she expects me to pronounce it better. But anyway, we are joined here, the league manager. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you, Mebo. Happy to be here with all of you.
I think you forgive us, but do let us know about these Pilsner awards. Why should we be excited about them?
Yeah, once again, we are coming back with to award the best, the best who have performed in the 2022-23 season. These awards are a climax of what happens or what has happened in the season. It's very important to recognize the participants, those are the players, and the officials as well, who have excelled. So it's that moment where players feel honored in the season.
Do these awards drive individual initiative, or do they build onto team spirit? What would you say?
I would say all. Why? That whereas you would attribute a team success to all the players probably on the pitch, I'll give an example of what we had last season in the awards. Maybe I'll just take you back. We had this player who almost scooped all the awards. It wasn't just because of choice, but all of us appreciated what...
Not almost, he actually scooped all the awards that he was attached to.
Exactly, and we would appreciate that what he did on the pitch did create excitement, happiness to the people watching, but also did a lot of contribution to the club. So, and again...
Which player are we talking about?
We're talking of Cesar Manzoki.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, to the club, that's why you see, even worldwide, there's no award that will come that Manchester is the best performing club and they are giving them the awards of what? We recognize individuals mostly for performance. Okay? For the clubs, mainly we'll pick up the discipline aspect, but if you're recognizing players and many are from a particular club, at the end it's the club taking that credit for performing or excelling compared to the others. Yes, the champions definitely always walk away with the trophy. So the club already has been recognized by carrying away the trophy. This trophy is not taken by the players, it's the club particularly. And we get also prize monies that we give out at the end of the season. It goes to the club again. It doesn't go to the players. So for these awards specifically, we look at the participants who have been you know, playing these different roles in the club. Yeah.
But shouldn't that change? Shouldn't the money go at least something to the individual? Because you know how in the future is it something you can take to the bank? It seems it's not when their playing days are over.
Okay, maybe to be again, these awards don't come just by plaques. We have a token that we attach to that, which goes to the individual players. But again, also, when a club is signing these players and all that, there are a number of things entailed within their contracts in terms of if they are champions, if they win and all that. So these players do recognize, are recognized rather. We even witnessed this at the end of this season when Vipers were pronounced as the champions. At least it's not a secret because the president himself came up and committed to give a particular amount to the players in terms of reward for winning the trophy. So this happens, but for now, it's a club in totality because a club also has other duties. Like now, once one carries that trophy, they start immediately preparing for the continental, rather the CAF engagements. It's money. Yeah. It's money.
But also maybe to a supplement on your submission in line to Mebo's question, the value that comes with the awards. I'll give an example. Today, we know Simon Tamale, the goalkeeper at Maroons, has already signed with Ryan Sport in Rwanda. There are people who are very bitter and angry that he actually rushed. And they are saying if he had waited a little bit longer, remember, he's nominated for the goalkeeper of the season, an award is likely to take statistically. He's also nominated for the player of the season. So people are saying if he had waited a little bit longer and probably win one of those awards, his value would have gone higher. Now, Ryan Sport would have known that we're actually buying the best goalkeeper in the Ugandan League last season, but also one of the best players in the league last season. But he rushed and he went ahead and signed the contract. Probably that won't get to happen, but be rest assured that whoever walks away with that award on that night, their value is going to go up, especially those who are free agents and they're in negotiations with other clubs or they are trying to renew. Your value instantly goes up because you're the best in whatever you're doing, and whoever wants to bring you probably needs to put a decent price tag on you.
And Paul, maybe also to add, you see, I wrote a piece for the Monitor where I said the final day excitement kind of masked you would say the low level or questionable level of the league this season in terms of play. And that is, when you look at the table, it shows. When you look at the team that finished third, Villa, conceding 20 and scoring 27, meaning in the games they played, they scored at least, they played 28 games,
28, yeah.
Which means they missed one game and scored one goal in all the others. Now, when you look at the nominees, the players, actually, apart from young player of the season and player of the season, the top two teams do not have a player in the nominations. When we look at, I think the producer can start rolling those nominations again.
Karisa for player of the season, and that's it.
So
and defend of the season,
when you talk of individuals, it makes sense because now you're looking at individuals regardless of the club they're coming from. But when we look at, for example, okay, those are the coaches of the season. I think those deserve to be there. Let's look at the defenders. Yes, Hilary Mkundane Vipers, Gift Fred Villa. I think I don't question that as well, but mainly for me there it's Gift Fred, who I think should have been among the top 3 player of the season. For me, should have replaced the goalkeeper, Simon. Simon was good, but he should stay in the goalkeeper. I think Gift Fred, in terms of value and influence on the team, deserve to be in the player of the season, but at least he's in the defenders of the season. And then we look at the midfielders, interestingly. First, you have Tibita of Busoga United. Sorry, Tibita Laban there. 7 goals, 6 assists, quite something. For a team that only survived relegation on the final day, that's something. And then Lawrence Bukenya, who doesn't have the statistics, but his game is more than statistics, from Wakiso Giants. And then Gaddafi Wahab, who you watch him and you think he should give you more, but he doesn't. At 5 goals and 6 assists. Now, these are from teams that were not even vying for the title. You don't have a KCCA there, you don't have a Vipers there, you don't have a Villa there. It shows you the teams that won the league, it's just that there's a gap between them and the lower ones, but there's nothing special that they did. So in terms of rewarding individual brilliance, you give it to these players, but the question marks for the top teams that remain. Now, for the player of the season, Milton Karisa wasn't sparkling, but he was the best player at Vipers as well. This is not to rain on the parade of the awards, but to, point to some of those issues as well. So, and then there you go, Charles Barley. Charles Barley, actually, for a Villa side that started when no one really believed in what they were up to. I think he had a good season. And again, I'll insist Gift Fred should have been in there. Karisa, the main reason he's there is because Vipers won the title. He was their best player, but if they hadn't won the title, perhaps could have been different. Yeah, so in terms of the players and what they deserve, as for coach of the season, for me, it's Alexis Sabirie. Starting from Bull all the way to Vipers, is a no-brainer for me there. If anything happens, it will be one of those surprises. Awards also bring surprises.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Paul, do you want to comment maybe on why those people are there?
I mean,
or not,
or how they ended up there, maybe, because I'm sure the public would want to know.
Andrew has brought out a fundamental, I would say, argument or point. This season around, when you look at the performance relating to all the clubs, honestly, you wouldn't say that there was this unique kind of performance, because we saw all the big people beaten by what would call the small. In matches that you thought probably have ended, equalizers coming in the last minute or they are beaten. And this really
Maroons Vipers, Maroons Villa, Maroons KCCA, you have UPDF KCC.
Last season, the trophy was taken at minus at 15?
18.
18, rather, the other season rather.
Yeah.
But we saw this season that the top were battling, whereas the bottom were battling. The difference between Odumparaka, then you bring Black's Power, you bring in UPDF, you bring in Busoga, basically was like 1 point, apart from Odumparaka that had 3. But the others was 1 point, and that continued up to the top. So what does it tell you, like you've said? This season around, yes, we would say, was it a competitive season? It depends the way you want to view it. There was one would say that probably all what was running, the talent or the skill was the same. Probably you could say the income or revenue and is what enabled others to probably come in as champions. Because again, now we look at the clubs that are better off in terms of finance and in terms of even proper administration, governance. I will not, that I will tell you, governance-wise, you see them at the top. Then the clubs that had challenges, because some of those clubs that were relegated, they did not have coaches at the end of by the time we're going to the end of the season. I mean, you are seeing, I know it's sad, but you see a person playing over 5 matches and they don't have a coach.
Yeah.
And head coach. Okay.
And it's the professional we are aspiring to be professional.
One team that was vying for the championship had 4 coaches in the entire season. But also, when you look at the nominees, especially for me, the players in the different categories, and then you go back from the time the season started up to the time when the season ended, you actually look and you think these were actually the most consistent players in the Uganda Premier League. Hilary Mukundane, he doesn't have so many fans, but when you look at his performance at Vipers, he was consistent.
Yes.
The same with Gift Fred at Sports Club Villa. You thought he was consistent. Simon Tamale at Maroons, you thought he was consistent.
Big game player.
Yeah, big game player. Milton Karisa, not fancy, not beautiful to look at on eye, but he was consistent.
Yeah.
I mean, he rose up to the occasion when his a team needed him. And for me, that takes me to the question. For instance, you look at a category like a midfield of the season, and you thought that on a day like this, people would be making cases for players like Brighton Kani, players like Moses Waiswa, but actually no one is making a case for them.
And no one is even actually saying why aren't they on the team?
Exactly, because they didn't really give enough reason for them to be considered to be there. So you want to feel, you'd want to comment, Paul and this team, that maybe they got a few things right here and there. And just like last season, I mean, we left Katikati. I want to feel everyone was satisfied. By the saying that, it just reminded me that the best midfielder from the other season was Siraje Sentam.
Exactly.
Still in the same league where you have these other players that you think maybe have what it takes to go out there and make their presence felt. Though I also wondered that if Ibrahim Kasule had not moved on and gone to US, because by the time he left as a midfielder, he had 5 goals to his name and 5 assists to his name. You think that probably outside Lawrence Kenya, he was the other live wire for Kiso Giants. Probably if had stayed on and played longer in the Uganda Premier League, maybe some of those categories would have had a different equation altogether. But you want to think that for me, the people who are placed in the different categories were the most consistent. Not really good players, not talented, not technically gifted as such, but they were consistent with their performances throughout the season, and they deserve to be in those categories.
Just to, because if you look at the Maroons player, what's his name again?
The goalkeeper.
The striker.
Fred Amaku.
Fred Amako.
Yeah.
He pulled his thing right from the beginning of the season, but somehow midway he died off.
Yeah.
And we saw some of these players you see, originally Bale and even Alan Kaiwa, they were not in the top even 4 by then.
Yes.
But somehow these people who are consistent with their scoring also died off. And that's how, again, when you look at some of these people you're talking of, like Milton. Milton is one of those players, by the way, who featured for the most matches in the whole season.
Yeah.
And that just shows you how he was a pillar in the club.
Oh, yeah.
All of us, if you would have watched a Vipers game, you would see who was taking over this leadership, you know, position within the club. Even if the others were playing and they were doing changes, this guy stood out.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that probably is the best, but relating, trying to pick out.
Yes, a non-functional team, but he functions still.
You know?
Yeah.
And trying to pick up those key things that you could consider.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, Tamale, you know, Tamale doesn't even just come out as the goalkeeper. But if you look at even the awards, because the other things we look at, if we look at even the monthlies and the man of the match and all
Okay,
those,
beyond the footballer, he's also an entertainer.
Yes, he is.
yeah,
And he saves his best for the big teams against the big opponents.
exactly. I mean, I saw him in Lugogo when
No, he earned cases. He earned Maroons that point.
That point.
Yeah. Even there was a time he got yellow carded and he didn't care. As long as we are walking away with a point, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Maybe let's talk the organization. Most of these events, the organization has come into question. How prepared are you guys? Do you see yourselves putting up a much better show in terms of you going home and say, we organized a good event?
And I also wanted to ask, related to that, how good is your electoral commission? Because we here, even among the 4 of us, we also have our electoral commission that we also question every once in a while. And yet we're only 4.
As Paul, you're coming to answer Andrew's question, Andrew, allow me comment that you got Paul and the organizers of these awards for upgrading.
Yes.
From that tiny hot hall along Lugogo bypass to Sheraton Hotel, because you thought the awards at the magnitude of the Uganda Premier League should be treated with the respect they deserve.
Yeah.
Last season I thought the organizers didn't value the occasion, didn't value the function.
They didn't value themselves.
We, the attendees, didn't value the occasion. I saw people wearing T-shirts. I saw people in jeans. I saw people in Nigina. And
What's Nigina?
Crocs.
Crocs.
Oh, okay.
The only beautiful bit about the entire function for me on that day was the award itself. I mean, the award was designed in the map of Uganda. I don't know the material, but the award looked beautiful. But for me, the fact that they have upgraded from where we were last year to Kampala Sheraton Hotel, that only tells me that it is going to be a good event. So even if it's you and you had plans of coming in your jeans and T-shirt, the moment
You think
we are
twice.
going to Sheraton, you have to think twice and actually look the part. And for me, I want to commend them for that.
Okay. Good stuff. How do you feel?
I mean, I don't want to rush to give my side of it, because the same Clive may be at tomorrow now turning the
No,
door.
we just hope it goes well.
I think for me, like to respond to Mebo's concern, Clive already hinted on it here. Even now, as he has been giving his word, he's not raising anything on the category or the people who won the awards. It was really justified, and there was every reason for them to win. Similarly, the procedure we follow and what we have laid out on how to arrive to the people who win, I can give you confidence 100%. There's nothing like, that's why the people
Do you want to give
mentioned
a little bit of how do you arrive? What's the procedure?
We after our launch, what we did that when we launched, we put these categories out, and not all, we have 13 categories, but of those, not all of them are up for voting. Some are, I mean, obvious. So we put these names, the categories out for the people to nominate. They nominated. Whereas the public is nominating, we have a panel of 5 people but I am there to ensure that
As the league manager.
you know.
Yeah.
So when these names come back to us, we have to sieve, because some people will go into there, mention names that even don't fall in those categories or within. So you have to sieve. And then also people may mention, because someone can rally people out there to go and vote him or her, and they are not deserving, you get. So so that's where we come in. So after that, that's how we came up with the 3. So after the 3, again, we subjected them to the public for voting. And I can confidently tell you, people watch their games. This I am not making up. Because at least I'm privy, I can see what people are doing. We have we share the link where people have been going on and voting, but I can tell you 100% of what they have voted is factual. That one I am not, even before the panel. The panel will be sitting tomorrow again to review these, and that's how we're going to come up with the top, because there are categories in there like the players, those ones are voted for by the captains of these 15 teams. Then the coaches player, that one is voted for by the coaches. All that will be done also tomorrow.
So the public is not involved in those 2?
No, the public is not involved in those. And then now when the panel sits again, we'll review from what we've received from the public vote, but also see, really, is it deserving? And where it's not, we will mention. But remember, like I said, 46% of the public vote also counts. So once someone has really been voted for by the public, it's already on the upper hand that for you to disregard what they have voted, you should have really a credible reason. So you'll not just go in and say, no, this one is no. We'll follow that vote, and I can tell you by now, 100% I give credit to them. Then you asked about your question was again, sorry?
I don't remember what
The organization.
The organization, yes.
In terms of, did you mean the event or
the event? Actually, not
that. Are we ready? Do we feel we are ready? Will we come up and say?
I mean, I was relating it to the events from what Cliff talked about, the previous previous location and now this location. And are you confident that that night you'll go home and say yes?
Yes, we originally, we've done awards before. We went off about 7 years. We only returned recently. Last season, that is, and then we are picking up. So our aim is to see that we make the awards constant, okay, but also improve on in terms of the venue, like you've said, the award process itself, in terms of the takeaways from the awards. So it's something we have started and we are building on. Like you've said, yes, we could have started with probably a facility we feel wasn't deserving. So now we are going to a better, and probably the coming season will have even something more glamorous and better. So what I'm trying to say, for now, yes, it's an event we prepared for and we're ready for, we have been ready for, but probably not deserving to where we want to be. But we are now.
Where do you want to be? Just paint a picture for us.
No. You see, in all that you do, we pick a leaf from the developed or the better, the developed leagues. You get? We still have a limitation on the numbers or the people attending. It's deserving for us to make this a real social activity that people know it's awards. Let those who we want to attend in terms of big number. Now we are still limiting, that's the fact. We are limiting because of
so fans can't buy tickets.
Exactly, things like that. So we want to go to that extent where at least we'll come to probably KCCA, pick a number of people to also come and be part of these awards. Go to Villa, pick a couple of people, let them be. But we are not doing that. Now we are mostly restricting, we are restricting to mostly the nominees, some club people and all that. So we want to really make it a glamorous kind of event that, the football community can enjoy, not just on TV, but be attained in
Yeah,
particular.
but Paul, that is the reason why there is TV, because everyone can't attend.
Exactly. No, I'm not saying everyone. That's why I've said some. Yeah.
They would like more people to attend
Some
than
do, yeah.
actually do.
We will grow the number.
Okay, Paul,
And, yeah.
relatedly to the awards, Paul, can we get a trophy that fits being flown in a chopper?
Just like the chopper surprised you.
No, it didn't.
No, it did. don't act like it did. So next season, or this season we are in, because the window opened again on the 1st.
Yes.
That's something we commit ourselves.
We are
You'll
not
see
seeing
something.
that
By the way,
trophy
no,
again.
Paul, I don't know if you can be in position to answer this. It is long overdue. I landed on a document by the Federation which had all the designs of the different trophies that they were supposed to give out. Like you see, the winner's medal for the league, it is actually deliberate, designed that way. Now, I landed on a document where each and every competition, football competition in Uganda, has a customized trophy designed and tailor-made for that competition. But like I said, it's been some time now, and we are yet to see it happening. The medals are in. At least we know how Uganda Premier League medal looks like. It is unique in its own way. It doesn't look like any other medal. When are we having those trophies? Where you know this is the Stanbic Uganda Cup trophy, this is the Uganda Premier League trophy. Okay, the other competitions are not under your docket. But when are we getting that customized Uganda Premier League trophy where everyone looks at it and I know that's a league trophy?
And it's an icon. It can only be improved, but it stays the same over the years. The way you look at big years, Champions League, FA Cup.
Like again, I'm repeating. We're going to have a better trophy with replicas. That is happening this season.
So you'll do teams like KCC and Villa, the owners of giving them 16 replicas, 13 replicas,
As
to put in their trophy
No,
cabins.
you have a starting point. You cannot really go back to wherever, but we'll have a starting point, and I can assure you that moving forward, yes, the trophy wasn't, fitting the event like you're saying, but we started from somewhere, like again I'm saying, but we're going to have a better trophy this season.
And we're
That
seeing
one
the
I
pictures
promise.
there on the screen of the...
You know, the chopper arrived and we're like, something big is going to come.
Good,
Okay, it
very
was
good.
big, but just big. By the way, how do people come to the awards know that they are coming? You invite them, or?
Yes, we're inviting them.
So you are not inviting us?
Looks like we are not invited.
You haven't been called yet?
No.
No, the invitation is coming. How do you NTV can't miss out, you know.
Like how?
like how?
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, you won't miss
And
out. That I'm promising you.
Any final word, Paul? I think any one last thing?
Yeah, thank you for hosting us. And what I want to guarantee to you is that the awards are going to be credible, like they have always been. And in all that we've done, right from the monthly Pilsner Monthly Awards, monthly, and even the man of the match, they are all justified why these people win them, and the same thing even this time around. We just hope we are able to pull up an event that Clive will be happy and
give
comes
good
here and
reviews.
yes, exactly. And like you've said, the venue, I don't think Niginas will even go past the gate. That won't happen. Otherwise, thank you for hosting us, and yeah, thank you for supporting and loving football.
Okay, thank you very much, Paul Kabaikaramu, the league manager there, talking about the Pilsner Awards. NTV Sport Nights takes a short break. Do stay with us.